Okay.
So like in the cocaine shoot, I was going in and I did a fairly normal voice, but as soon as they shut the camera off, I would bust out into this full pimp voice, doing these, and like Aaron's just good, so like he had this energy, like he was the scene here, and I wanted to rise to that level of energy, but as soon as the camera came on, like it was a combination of I didn't really know what they wanted, and it was a combination of I guess the fact that I didn't really know what he wanted, so it didn't allow me to do that. I don't know.
So
I don't know what stopped it.
So something is stopping you from following your impulses. So if the director doesn't clearly communicate, you feel you can't follow through on your impulses for what you envision the character to be. Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. So, but it goes back to what you said earlier, communication. Do you feel if something was communicated more clearly to you, then that you could have maybe had more energy or been jousting a bit with Aaron's character, who's so amped up?
What was the question?
I'm just thinking the coat to me, being the pimp drug dealer or the owner, let's say, of the operation, I kind of liked the fact that your energy was different than Aaron's. When you were saying you wanted to rise to that, but you inhibited yourself, you stopped yourself, because you weren't clear on what the director wanted from you.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't place it.
Eileen, how about for you, the most challenging and then the niche?
Okay. First of all, I wanted to ask you, I'm sorry, based on what he was saying, does the director normally tell you what they expect of you in real life? Or it's like, here's a script and you create the character and then I mean, you don't really get that much direction, do you?
No.
In real life,
No.
You don't get that much direction.
But they're trying, but most training institutions like USC's School of Film and everything there, and Chapman, they're trying to change that. They're trying to change methodology. They think that if directors understand the actor's point of view and can communicate more effectively, then you're going to get better performances. Okay. When in reality, it's still dependent on what the actor creates.
It depends on us, really.
Yeah.
Going back to the niche, I do like to play drama. I also like to play, oddly enough, I like to play comedy. So
well, you're very funny in Ghostbusters.
I mean, I could play both, and any interesting, or I could play a very powerful woman. You know, I could, like in an office where, you know, that type of a thing, politics type of a person. You know, I like that. You know, I can play a lot of roles. And the challenges, like I said before, it's challenging to work with different directors, especially when those directors really themselves, they don't know what they want. That's a challenge to me. They have to know exactly what they want before they walk in on set. That's my challenge.
So, do you guys run lines while you were waiting at all, or did you do anything like that when you were on?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all you can do while
Yeah.
you're figuring it out. But yeah.
Having said that, I thought Zach was very good.
Yeah.
And I was telling him earlier that he picks up life when he's on stage, you know,
Yeah.
or I should say on the screen. He does. He's like,
Yeah,
he becomes alive.
I think the camera picks you up more than the average person. Yeah.
Lack of confidence.
Ah.
That's what it is. I pinpointed it. That's because when the I just wasn't confident enough to go through with it.
Okay.
So when the camera shut off, I knew Eileen, I knew Aaron, I knew Kelsey, so I was comfortable enough and I was confident enough to bust out this full pimp voice and owning like that character. But when the camera came on, I just didn't feel like it, so I dropped down to this calm, still like assertive, still, you know, I own this operation, but nowhere near
Well, that's
nowhere near
interesting
that.
because what I saw was someone, you ran the operation, so you allowed yourself to just be the person who runs the operation. You didn't have to show everybody that you run the operation. Does that make sense? But I also understand your instinct to be maybe more flamboyant character, the pimp daddy kind of thing. Yeah. So, I mean, and again, it doesn't help because it is natural to stop those choices or instincts if you don't know if it's okay with the director because time's a waste and so that's where the communication has to come in. And we're going to talk with the directing students next week too so that we can make this more effective in future.
If I could add a comment for
Can I
that.
say one thing before I finish? The lack of confidence, we all have it.
Yeah.
And
You fake it till you make it, basically.
yeah, so it's everyone.
Yeah.
Until someone says, I'm going to vote for you because you should become an actress, then that makes you more confident right there and then.
But getting that affirmation, sure.
Yeah, otherwise we're all,
But getting affirmation from your colleagues or your director or your instructor and stuff, that also fuels your ability to feel, okay, somebody likes what I'm doing, so therefore maybe I should continue to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Who wants to ask the first question for me?
Let's go. Let's see this coming.
What did you learn from day one for the ending?
What did I learn?
What have you learned from day one of this class to the last day of class? Even though we have one more meeting. And how have you changed from what you have learned or experienced?
I learned to be more relaxed because I usually felt like a little bit nervous at first, like being like working in front of other people and all that. But I think I learned to be more relaxed, to act better, to get more into character.
I'd have to say, I was trying to figure it out in my head before I came up here. But I guess the big thing for me is, it's more, making a film is not just about living as a character. There's a lot of business that goes into it, like you have to be able to have the same emotional congruity. What the hell is that?
Continuity.
Continuity. Emotional continuity is something that I've been kind of eyeballing because sure, you need to be in the moment and know all your stuff and everything, but at the same time, you're going to have multiple takes that are somewhat different, but they all have to be similar enough so the fact that when you run it after it's all been edited, it's smooth, and that's something that I've kind of been placing some attention on, is maintaining solid emotional continuity through every take.
That's an excellent realization. What was the most challenging with these?
The most challenging. I usually don't like being like too serious, but I know if I want to get into acting, maybe there are going to be some times that I have to act serious. So I remember when filming Gone Girl, I wanted my character to be a little bit kind of like funny, but it looked like the director kind of had like a different picture of the scene than I did for my character. So in the end, I just think it's important for me to get to an agreement with the director and try to be more serious when I have to be serious. So probably that was a challenge because I don't consider myself to be a very serious person. So a challenge for me would be like playing a serious character. Yeah.
Well, I thought in Spotlight you were able to be serious, and I liked what you wore for Gone Girl because that said it all. Because it was sort of like how your character came in with the tie and the notepad, like I'm taking this seriously, but it was sort of lighthearted in a way, which actually can work. It can offset the drama.
Yeah.
So that was a unique way of attacking it. Erin, how about for you?
I'd say the very small amount of time you have to dissect a scene and a character, compared to theater where you have like 4 to 6 weeks, 4 hours a day. Here it's just like, all right, here's your scene for next week. Here's the script. definitely going to want to read at least a couple times, and then you have to go in and find some actions and objectives and all that good stuff, and it's just not a lot of time. It's not a lot of time to really piece together a unique performance, and then once that's done, you gotta start from scratch. Here's a new script, new scene, and so that's been like probably the most challenging thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and unless it's Lord of the Rings and you're shooting for 12 months, I mean,
Mhm.
basically, like for television, even in a series, you're gonna have a different script every week.
Mhm,
It's gonna
mhm.
be different guest stars that let's say you play the main character, regular character on the show has to respond to, and
Mhm,
yeah. So you have to it does feel like it's not enough time, but what do you end up relying on if you don't have enough time?
Your craft,
Yeah.
listening. Yeah.
Listening, which you understand very well from Meisner.
Mhm.
What do you think? So you kind of alluded to your niche being comedy, but that's where you like to. That's where you want to set your sights.
Yes, I think I'm more relaxed. I feel like I'm more me. If my character is a fun character, that would be my niche. Like playing a fun character that makes me.
Well, it looked like you had fun in Ghostbusters. That's for
Yes,
sure.
that's for sure. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That you were happy to be there.
Yes, I was very happy to be there. Yeah, I think that was my favorite scene to play. Yes.
How about for you,
I'd
Eric?
probably say drama. I mean, I like comedy, but I like being serious. Not necessarily in a mean way or a sad way. Just just being serious. I think that's something I do pretty well at.
Okay. All right. Thank you.